Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to 2021. This is my first video of 2021 and I'm making a video about my first ever GoPro. Before we get started, I would like to invite everyone to please subscribe to my channel as it will help me reach my goal of becoming a full-time YouTube creator talking about photography gear, editing, filmmaking, everything under the sun about videography and photography. Now to the topic at hand. The GoPro Hero 9 is my first ever GoPro and I would like to share my thoughts about it. No, this is not going to be a full review. I just want to talk about my thoughts on it, who it's for, what it can do, what you can use it for as well. The GoPro Hero 9 I think by far is the most polarizing GoPro because I see reviewers talking about it like not so good. I see reviewers talking about how awesome it is. Some people talk about that they'd rather buy the GoPro Hero 8. Now as for me, I don't have prior experience to any GoPro. As I've mentioned earlier, this is my first GoPro ever and it was a gift from my girlfriend. It was a Christmas gift from her. And I just want to talk about my thoughts and my feelings about the GoPro Hero 9. Alright, so what stands out for me at first is the number of different resolutions you can take videos in. So there's 1080, there's 2.7K, there's 4K, and there is 5K. But for all of these resolutions, you can only shoot a certain frame rate. So if you're shooting at 1080, you can shoot the full suite from 28 to 240 frames per second. Yes, the GoPro Hero 9 shoots 240 frames per second, ultra super duper slow motion. For 2.7K, you can only shoot at 60 and 120, which is kind of weird. I wish they had an option to shoot 24 or 30 frames per second on 2.7K, but nonetheless, it gives you good quality slow motion at 120 or 60 frames per second. And next up is of course 4K. A lot of people are shooting in 4K now, and the GoPro Hero 9 does offer 4K video recording at 24 up to 60 frames per second. And of course 5K. It's my first time using a camera with 5K capabilities, and the 5K can shoot 24 up to 30 frames per second. And what's weird is that if you're shooting in 5K, you can only shoot at the wide setting, which is around 19mm focal length, which is still pretty wide, but sometimes if you want to go that extra width, you can still go at 4K. 4K still looks very good. Now, I took some videos of 1080, 2.7, 4K and 5K, and I'll put the 4K and 5K side by side, and I'll put the 1080 and 2.7K slow motion side by side as well. So for me, I'm new to photography and videography. I don't really see much of a difference or any difference at all between 4K and 5K. As it's hard to see a difference, especially if you're watching on your phone. But when I saw this on my screen, I saw slight difference only. But again, if you're using this for personal use or if you're using it for consumption on a laptop or on a phone, it doesn't really matter. Now for the 1080 and 270, the 1080, I recorded this clip in 240 frames per second, and for the 2.7K, I was recording at 120 frames per second. It's nice to have that option of 2.7K 120 frames per second if you really want to up that production value, if you want to be able to punch in a bit more, because you can punch in a bit more at 2.7K compared to 1080p. Now, another good thing for me about this is the flexibility. Not really the flexibility, but the amount of options you have. You have hyper smooth. Again, I talked about the many resolutions, the many frame rates. but also the settings provide you with bitrate options. It's either standard or high. I keep mine at high. The color profile, you can use the GoPro color profile or the flat color profile. For me personally, I use the flat color profile because for me the GoPro color profile is just a bit too oversaturated. Now you can also adjust the white balance, you can adjust the shutter speed, you can also set the minimum and maximum ISO for your clips. So if you're expecting yourself to be shooting in a low light environment, you can bump up the maximum ISO to around maybe 1600 or 3200. But for me, I keep it at 800. I'm only planning to use my GoPro in very nicely lit places, like on an afternoon on the beach or something like that. One of my gripes is that the touchscreen on this GoPro is not very good. It's laggy, it doesn't respond very well. It's like, remember those old smartphones, the first generation touchscreen phones wherein it doesn't have that capacitive touchscreen, I think that's what they call it, but it feels like that those old touchscreen phones, that it's just super unresponsive. It takes a while before it's hard to slide up and down. The GoPro Hero 9 kind of gives it that feeling of using an old touchscreen phone. Now for $450, I hope that it would be better, but just one of the downsides of owning this GoPro Hero 9. I don't know how it is on the older GoPros because again, this is the first GoPro I've ever used. Another thing is the battery door. If you plan to charge this using the Type-C slot here, you have to leave the battery door open, which makes it very, very prone to breaking. So if, for example, you're charging it using the USB Type-C slot here and you accidentally drop it, there might be a chance that the door might break. So you don't want that. So if you want to get this GoPro, I advise you getting those external third-party chargers so you can just remove your battery and charge them outside so you don't have to leave that door open. Now, who is the GoPro Hero 9 for? So if you like traveling, if you like adventure, if you like to put a camera in precarious situations, you should definitely get a GoPro. I do like the GoPro Hero 9. I do like the video that comes out of it. I like the time-lapse quality as well. If you want to see what 5K looks like, my last video was shot with this GoPro Hero 9. I'll put the link up here. If you want to see what it looks like 4K or outdoors, I'm gonna show you a short clip at the end of the video just for you to appreciate or just to see what the GoPro can do. So this is also good as a backup camera if you want to shoot like a point of view of you doing a shoot, like what Pierre Lambert does. I think this GoPro Hero 9 will be perfect for that as well. This is by all means not a main camera. It can be a vlogging camera because of the GoPro width, wideness, and the hyper smooth. I think the hyper smooth on this is great. Yeah, if you want to vlog, you can definitely pick this up. It's waterproof. You can put it in precarious situations. You can fit it into things where in a regular camera won't fit into, and it just gives you more flexibility in terms of trying to get a shot that a normal camera like an A7 III wouldn't be able to get. This is a great camera if you want to shoot travel videos in 2021, and hopefully Corona is gone by 2021, so we're all praying for that. This is also good as a behind the scenes camera if you want to shoot behind the scenes of your projects. You can buy a chest mount and just mount it there, just start shooting. Yeah, so there's a lot that you can do, but this is not, by all means, not a main camera if you're looking at making videos or filmmaking. But there are shots that this can do that a normal camera wouldn't do. So all in all, the GoPro Hero 9 I think is a fantastic camera. It's also very portable. You can bring it everywhere, throw it in your camera bag, and it's just there. It doesn't take up much space. And yeah, all in all, I would suggest people, if you're looking for a first GoPro, the GoPro Hero 9 is a great option. It's a great pickup. Now, thank you to my girlfriend who gifted this for me. It's my first ever GoPro, and it is awesome. So as promised, here's a short clip of my girlfriend and I when we went to the beach. Don't worry, we were observing social distancing, and the place was really strict about social distancing. We had on our masks when we were interacting with people. We had face shields as well. So we were being very, very careful, but here's the video. Now, thank you guys for watching. That is it for me tonight. Again, I urge you to please subscribe to my channel. Help our brother out. Hit the like button if you like this video. And just don't hit the dislike button if you don't like it. If you don't like the video, just mosey on along. And yeah, that is it for me tonight. Peace.